Hello, hello.
Tonight on Granblue Radio. Not really that much. How you doing?
I've been fine.
Oh God. Okay. Do you actually believe me when I say this is gonna be a short episode?
Because there's only one thing we're talking about.
Yeah, buddy. All right. All right. Uh, let's begin.
Let's do it.
Hey everyone. Welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode number 209. This is January 14th of 2021. This is Vibrating Sheep as always, joined by my crew's first mate or whatever it's called. Is it first
Hi.
officer?
Officer, yeah, because first officer buffs.
That's right. So this is DJ on the line with me,
Yep.
and I mean, it's like 5 hours until Unite and Fight starts. We're gonna fight a dinosaur this time,
Yeah, that's cool at least.
and I am very proud of the one turn EX plus I have for this time around. I don't have the one turn Katura thing, but I just amused by the fact that all of my damage is done by
Melissa Bell.
Valentine's Melissa Bell, like all of
Yeah.
it. I
My setup is either full auto and go or one summon and go.
this team is mad fun, and by mad fun I mean super brainless, and then I do something else. All right. Anyway, we pretty much have a policy of not talking about Unite and Fight because it's been mostly the same, except for like minor changes and tinkering over the last few years. So,
Like dinosaurs.
like dinosaurs, we fight a dinosaur this time. I'm gonna fight it with my fists out of honor to honor my ancestors who probably fought dinosaurs. I think that's probably how history works, right?
Or they're dead. That also happens.
Yeah, yeah, like that. Anyway, so yeah, this is gonna be a nice chill episode because all we've got to talk about is going to be the letter from the director, which we talked last week about how we were going to wait on it and translate it. I did translate it, and so let me go ahead and bring that up
On
because
grandcipher.com.
I did do that. It's a thing that I did. It's true.
It was also very long. It took you like a couple days.
It really did. It's 3,000 words or so. So let's go. Let's get into it. So we covered some of this stuff very lightly, and let's go ahead and talk about. Okay, hold on. Let's get this window out of there. There we go. The parts that we talked about are what's coming up, but mostly what we want to talk about is okay. So 2020, he doesn't really talk about COVID as if it's COVID, but he talks about things that are obviously related to COVID, where it's about the shift from working in the office all the time to working from home. And you've been to Japan enough times with me, DJ. You know how much of a challenge it is to work from home in a place like Japan.
Dude, rooms are small.
Rooms are small, like spaces limited. Like there's no difference between your living space, your bedroom, and like barely your kitchen.
Yeah.
And there were things like I think I told you about this, the Hanko issue.
That's the stamps, right?
Yeah. Um, Japan had a very hard time changing their systems to accommodate work from home. Like it had a really hard time. In fact, it's still having a hard time. They're having a surge right now. And anyway, like, and so the the decision that they made in 2020, like all of this content was coming out. I mean, they released Tower of Babel, they released Dread Barrage, they released the Replicard Sandbox, they did the first rollout of the Six Star Eternals. A lot of it was delayed from when it was supposed to come out, but they got that done, and then they were like, okay, we are not going to leave any gaps because we're going to lose players. We're not going to like put in any filler. what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize the regular events, story events, Rise of the Beasts, the show, the regular stuff over everything else. And um, did you feel like there was anything in 2020 that was missing? Like, we know that a lot was delayed, but was there anything that you felt was really missing in 2020?
I mean, he like briefly said something, but there was only like the only thing that was missing was an update to main story. Well,
Uh,
there's one update.
there was Children of Utopia,
Yeah,
and
I like that story by the way. But
I enjoyed the story. It didn't necessarily go that far forward, but it moved. And I liked the characters, which is all that I care about in a game like this, honestly.
yeah,
But yeah, like,
everything still kept going on the same pace, except for we had the hiccup at the beginning where that one event was not voiced.
there were two events that weren't voiced. Um, it was not just the war story with Altair, but it was also Cinderella Fantasy.
Yeah,
That was like limited voice, basically. Um, and they started finally catching up to that, like as they adjust to the new normal. And um, I can't say that they were wrong or anything like that with the way that they prioritized things. And they didn't delay any of the events. They didn't delay any of the campaigns. And like that kind of work in the middle of essentially a gigantic culture shift is pretty impressive. They didn't. It's not perfect. A lot of stuff fell through the cracks. Like they delayed. They delayed 6 star Eternals. How long?
we heard about them first around December the 2019, correct?
And there was like, all right, we're doing them in the year 2020, and they were just like every time we saw them until essentially the first two came out on December 21st. It was just like, here's one thing that we've done. Here's art, one piece of art. Cool. Here's the CA animation, a piece of it, and that was basically what they showed us.
That was during a summer stream, if I'm correctly. I forget. My timelines are getting mixed up at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, things got super delayed, but I mean, everything got delayed. Life got delayed in 2020, and so um, one of the things that he addresses in this letter, and something that is like the essence of why we're still playing this game, is just like the the way that they did last year, like they wanted to make sure that it didn't feel like the game had been disrupted. Like even though the world was upside down, at least the game was still chugging along, right?
Yeah,
And so yeah, they added comfort, a little feeling of normalcy, and yeah, I mean, like this game kind of kept me sane in 2020. But going into 2021, as we now have all of this new culture, this new method, and everything like that, like we're going to see how they do from this point on out. Like this month is a resting month. They did very minor UI changes. They're gonna 5 star Vajra. There's gonna be some kind of event at the end of the month that has a new character in it, and everything else is reruns.
yeah. I mean, we kind of need it after so many campaigns going on for the past like what 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. The Christmas into New Year's thing, the influx, starting with Demon Slayer, going through the holiday season of just like, here's stuff. KMR sneezed. Here's a 10 roll. Go. But yeah, like um, and so the content that they are talking about coming up this year, like this is a letter that's kind of meant to um, show more than just 1 month out, because Choregra, the beginning of the month thing, that shows you exactly what's happening in this coming month and kind of no much for not any further at all really. Like it's a kind of a notable thing when it tells you something that's happening more than 1 month out. Usually that's going to be something like Granblue Fantasy Fest is stuff that's like more than 1 month out that they'll tell you about. But this letter talks about just the direction they're going in 2021. Like we talked about 6-player raids last week a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and by a little bit I mean a lot. Um, and yeah, they're basically saying the 6-person raid is going to be hard mode only now, and um, the implication of this is that it's going to be V2, which thank God for V2 and hard stuff because all right, DJ, pop quiz. Lucilius is at 72%. He's at in normal mode and the wings are alive, and he's at full dots and the wings are not at full dots. What's he going to do?
Axion, if I remember correctly.
Which rules for Axion? Because there's about
Frick if I know.
Yeah, there's about 3 things that have the name Axion. Apocalypse. Which one? Which one is it? And you're like,
Please describe it to me, game.
And so I'm going to once again just bang this drum and be like V2. When those dots are full, and you just click on whatever his move is, and it'll tell you what's going to happen. Blessed, absolutely blessed.
Also, the fact that some of these I can cancel, or knowing if I can cancel things are coming up.
Right? Anyway, so I'm looking forward to whatever they do with the new design for 6-player content. Beelzebub was something that was awful when it first came out. It's become livable now. I mean,
Also remember that because V2 was kind of not that great when it came out, like summoning and causing another trigger to happen
I
instead.
hated that so much, and it's gone. Yay! So, anyway, the other thing that they were talking about was this game kind of being. Let's see here. Where did that go? So this is another thing that they're talking about. Games moving more toward supporting casual playstyles instead of like super hardcore rating or something like that. Do you like this direction? Do you want to see like more 18-person content? Do you want to see more 30-person content that you can just breeze through? Do you want to see like what do you want to see in this game going forward?
Column A, column B.
You just
Pretty
want
much.
everything?
I want a little bit of everything because you can't just like, in order for a game to survive in a lot of things, you can't just cater to the top 1% or top 5%. You still want to keep the people who are just casually playing to be interested still.
And so
Which
this is
the story events actually do help that.
the story events are great for that. So this is the thing that I was thinking about. So we have Lumi Malice coming up in March. That's what they announced as the raid that's going to be coming out with the anniversary. And given the rules of the Malice fights, it's going to be 18-person. It's going to be 18 players. And it's like, oh, so people won't be so intimidated by it. They'll just run in there and hit it. And it's like, all right, well, for people who want to be on like the edge of progression, it won't be something that will be that challenging. You'll probably find ways to solo it within a couple hours, but that's the nature of MMO content these days.
Yeah.
But there's an unannounced 6-player raid coming out, and I'm wondering what they'll do to make it so that the Earth Hercules boys and the dark Luchador ladies are not going to just blaze through it in like 2 minutes. I'm really curious about that.
Violet Knight. They'll just make it the Violet Knights.
Please no. They've been doing a
Can't
lot of
just spam your
experiments with that.
buttons.
What if it has a break bar, and just like FGO, and like when one person kills it, it just comes back? It's like no. That they tried.
I was okay with Violet Knight doing that because it stopped at like a point where you had to. Let's see here. I'm going to describe this. It stops at a reasonable point.
It doesn't let you skip triggers in Violet Knight. Is that right?
True. It doesn't, but it's more of it's at a reasonable point where it's like what, last 40%.
Mhm.
That's at least reasonable-ish.
Yeah, I really wish that the Pride of the Ascendant stuff was more V2, but oh well. They've already established the Pride of the Ascendant is going to be base battle system. And so you'll still have to explore by dying or by reading somebody else's guide from them dying a lot.
And there's also going to be usually punishments for dying in the current six man raids.
Hmm. So,
I mean, I really don't want to see Beelzebub at a 18 man raid with people dying everywhere.
oh, Jesus.
Hello, I'm now back at full health. What's up?
Oh, Jesus, I don't want that. You're right. So let's see. We can skip the handbook, the party management, the inventory management stuff. Um, let's see here. Just all this new content we're gonna skip over, like sandbox and things like that. We've got uh, the story stuff. Um, let's see here. So let's talk about the 2021 roadmap a little bit then. So the stated goal of the dev team for 2021 is to be able to support both types of players where people will take breaks and come back so that the game is still familiar to them and they know what to do when they come back, and then still being able to satisfy the people like us who play every day and just keep coming back. Do you think that's something that they were already doing well in 2020, or do you need more from them in 2021?
I don't know how much you need to add. Because we've been playing like almost every day, pretty much.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't actually have the perspective of someone coming back. That's the hard part for me to actually judge.
Well, so Tone actually recently came back to the game for multiple reasons. He's come back and he's been like, "Wow, this is so much better than when I left." Like we've had some of that experience of stuff like that, and then of course he runs into new content and he goes, Replicard Sandbox is a great idea and it's not executed very well. And I'm just like, I can see that. I can see where he's coming from there.
Understandable.
And so, it's part of the endless MMO cycle, I feel like, where people like us who continue to blaze into the new content will inevitably find all of the like worst parts of that content and we'll be like, all right, we need to figure out what the good parts of this are and then bear with the bad parts. And then eventually, months later, the bad parts will be smoothed out, and then other people will be like, oh, this is so much better now. Like V2. V2 is exactly like that. Sandbox is going to be like that. Our Arcarm is like that now. I am skipping everything in our Arcarm, and it's awesome, DJ. It's so awesome.
How are you doing in Replicard, by the way? Because at the rate I'm going, before they give me the second weapon, I'm going to be finished with it.
So I have to make a choice between Replicard 3-star weapons and having Damascus for another 6-star Eternal right now.
So, I was just talking about Replicard in general, not
in Replicard in general.
Not that part.
Yeah, Replicard in general, I'm pretty close to being down to like the last 4 missions, and then from there, I'm just like, well, I guess I mine this thing for Lumi swords. Like that's all I can do.
I mean, calling down the grind to just Lumi swords isn't that bad.
Yeah, yeah. If my goal is just Lumi swords, then it's gonna be great. Because like I have an Ig sword that I'm happy with. I've got a Tia gun that I'm happy with. Like those are my remaining Magna things. Like I have a Levy dagger that I'm happy with. So it's just Lumi swords from here on out. All right. So the last thing, while we're moving on, then, is basically just the other games that are coming out in the Granblue Fantasy franchise. Did you take a look, by the way, at the new logo for, so the new title screen for Granblue Fantasy Versus?
I haven't yet.
There are so many characters on this banner now.
I see the one with Andre on there now.
Yeah, there he is. And then the next character is gonna be revealed in March. And the next character, I guess, is gonna go in front of Percival's legs right there.
Who knows?
This has gotten pretty crowded since we just started. It launched with 12, 11 characters, and then we're about to get the 9th DLC character. 1, 2, 4, 6.
Yeah, we're getting Andre soon, and then the next trailer is I think they said during the anniversary stream.
Yes. Mainly, I'm looking forward to seeing more tournaments because all right, so Granblue Fantasy Versus. My thoughts on this one, just as an overall thing. Uh, Cygames doesn't give up on games. They will relaunch them, but they don't give up on them. And so, GB Versus number one actually was doing pretty well in terms of like minutes watched. Like you may not see it on Twitch, but on YouTube, it's actually doing pretty well. And what was it? It was called like a third tier esports game in Japan,
Correct on
which is
that.
like over a million, over like 10 million minutes watched or something like that. It's like it's pretty healthy in terms of just people still play it in Japan. Outside of Japan, it's much tougher. Um, and someday, someday we'll be able to have in-person tournaments again. And until then, it's being basically supported by DLC in the Battle Pass.
The
I'm
last tournament I actually went to was NorCal.
yeah, yeah, but it's just like I feel like people who resent battle passes are, they're right to think that they're being to just say that sorry, they're perfectly within their rights to say that they're not going to get it. Um, but when it comes to a game like this, it's one completely unnecessary for anybody to get it. It's essentially for fun.
It, there's a lot of aesthetics things in it. That's it.
Um, and when it comes to DLC, like this is what keeps the game going right now. And hopefully, by the time we can have locals again, this game will be still going pretty healthily. Like, as far as the numbers have said, like, it's not. GB Versus was never meant to be like a Tekken Slayer or a Street Fighter Slayer, but they seem to be optimistic about it. They seem to be, continuing to support it, and maybe when we can all see each other again, we'll be able to play this game again. And it's not like it's a hard game to pick back up.
Not it's really simple enough, without being too like what's the word? You could still find the competitive in simple, as I've said with like the other Arxis games, pretty much.
I
And
mean,
that's not a simple is not bad.
BB Tag has super simplified controls, but it's also one of the most difficult games I've ever seen.
It's also hard to follow your eyes in that game. Let's be honest.
Yes, it is very hard to follow with your eyes. GB Versus is very easy to follow with my eyes. Anyway, anything else to say about GB Versus going toward like? Do you think that there's going to be a season 3 announced in March?
Season 3. Cause how many are we off from season 2's ending?
Number 5 will be. Hold on, let's go to versus stuff. I want to say that 5 was the end of season 2. Let's go take an absolutely sure look here. Nope. There's one. There's going to be 7 in season 2, or 6 in season 2. Sorry, this is the 4th character. So there's still another character on the roadmap after the 5th character. That's for summer.
It's possible we can get another season. The lack of like we said earlier, the lack of tournaments, in-person tournaments, hurts a lot, especially since fighting games are still a niche, competitive sport compared to like MOBAs and stuff like that. So it's hard to like gauge it.
It's
especially since this thing never had a tournament circuit.
Yeah, they've had Rage and like that's it. So it's done. It's like been surprisingly healthy for a game that is in a smaller space and is in a space that kind of requires being in person. So I'm hopeful. I think that we'll get a season 3, but I don't know if we'll. I hope that we'll hear good news about it in March with the anniversary stream. So anyway,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And then meanwhile, just so people don't say that we didn't talk about it, here's Relink. All right, bye Relink. We'll see you in 2022.
See you in 2022.
Bye.
It was like during the stream that they like showed like their current roadmap for that.
They did. The full
And it was
roadmap is
me.
there, and they're very, very clear about it, and it's in English. So good for them on that one. And that's the letter from the director. Anything else? Did you want to cover anything?
Fukuhara.
What was that?
Me Fukuhara.
Thanks, Fukuhara.
Meanwhile, like KMR over there is working on like what 4 games.
Did you know that in Idly Pride there is in the chief producer list a Kimura Yuito, and KMR said that's not me, guys. Just so you know, that's not me.
I mean, Idly Pride is also supposed to have a mobile game, so
Right? And he's just like, that is a different Kimura Yuito. That is not me. And it's like, what? Ha?
press it out.
Maybe it's KMR but with a mustache on or wearing a shark hat.
Oh, it's our favorites.
It's a perfect disguise. I'll blend in. I'll blend in with the populace. They'll never know. Anyway.
Anyways,
All right. So that's it. That's it for this week. Uh, what's next week, DJ? Next week we're going to have a rerun. We won't
yeah.
actually know about. We won't know who. What Vajra is going to be like. We will have our first look, maybe at. Yeah, we'll probably have our first look at the upcoming story event. It'll be what, the 22nd? Yeah, it's 5 days before. We'll have like just the text preview and some voice.
Again, is next week supposed to be Lyria's Notebook?
Next week is going to be Lyria's Notebook. By then we will also have Flash Gala, so we'll have like 2 characters maybe to talk about.
Okay.
That'll be it. Another chill episode, and then the
Okay
end of
with you.
January. The end of January is where we're gonna have all the stuff. So
Vajra's pretty cool.
everybody who ringed Vajra when rings came out and who have since like stopped using her as much will just be like, my time has returned. I mean, I still use Vajra.
Water has pretty good samurai characters now. One's free.
Oh yeah, the Kimetsu no Yaiba kids.
Correct.
I don't have Mirin. How's she been for you?
So Miran's in like a weird spot.
Mm-hmm.
Her counter doesn't last that long, and she wants a counter, but while she has a counter up, she triple attacks. So sometimes she doesn't want a counter, and yeah, it's just weird.
I'm just gonna scratch my head. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. For once, I wasn't lying to your face when I told you this was gonna be a short episode.
I mean, I knew it was gonna be a shorter episode.
I know, but I'm just saying, sometimes I don't lie to your face. Sometimes.
This is the one few times.
Look. Yeah. All right. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us for this short, chill episode of Granblue Radio. Next one's 2:10. We got some stuff to do.
Catch you guys later.
Catch you later. All right, good night, everybody. Say good night, DJ.
Night.